The second season of the science fiction show Foundation for Apple TV Plus broadens the story's breadth while bringing it closer to the war that Hari Seldon's prophecy at the start of the first season promised. It begins in a world where the protagonists must make difficult decisions and deal with an impending crisis for which they are ill-equipped, more than a century after the events of the Season 1 finale. Additionally, in this episode, a few new individuals are introduced that will be pivotal to the plot. Gall Dornick and Salvor Hardin are currently on Synax, 138 years after Salvor Hardin left Terminus. The water, whose level was growing when Gall left, has submerged the entire planet, leaving nothing behind. She had foreseen the collapse of her house, and she has now come home to confirm that she was correct. Gall is informed by Salvor that she is her daughter. Gall is stunned to learn this and finds it hard to believe she has a daughter. Salvor tries to draw parallels between them, such as how they both have a sense of danger and can stay awake by folding space, among other things. Gall needs more time, though, to forge the relationship Salvor is so anxious to achieve. They'd all agree that they must leave Synax, especially after learning that the Galactic Empire is poised to experience the second crisis. If this crisis is not resolved, it will result in more issues and a possible permanent state of darkness for the galaxy. Hari Seldon, or one of his incarnations, is imprisoned inside the Prime Radiant in the meantime. He sees his deceased wife, Yenna, and is perplexed by his predicament. As Cleon 7, the current brother Day, decides to get married and have children, friction between the three Cleons grows in Trantor. Queen Sereth is his intended wife, and she is far more dangerous than he had anticipated. Day also escapes a murderous attack, which leads him to believe that Dawn and Dusk are planning to harm him since he is attempting to do things differently. The opening episode of Season 2 transports us back to the Galactic Empire and reacquaints us with a world that has undergone significant alteration since our last visit. The Foundation develops at Terminus, hidden from the Empire's prying eyes, as Hari Seldon had intended. The Thespians and Anacreon's alliance turns out to be successful. They don't have to exert much effort to avoid the spotlight, because they are already disregarded by the Empire. They are now, unbeknownst to them, in the sights of the Empire. Day chooses to keep an eye on them and learn more about his new foe instead of attacking them right away. The Foundation is now a fully developed civilization. Although it is still not powerful enough to oppose the Cleon's rule, it is powerful enough to stand its position. The vault has lain idle since Seldon's last absence, but new activity has been noticed there, hinting to the likelihood of a fresh crisis. When the Anacreons touched down on Terminus, it last opened. To have reactivated it, something serious must have happened. Gall and Salvor have reached the same conclusion at Synax. Gall chooses to check in after first resisting the need to discuss Hari's strategy in the Prime Radiant, and learns that recent events have been getting out of hand. It is not surprising that a second catastrophe is anticipated. However, it turns out that if this crisis is not resolved, it will snowball into many such incidents, which could prolong the galaxy's impending period of darkness, enough that the galaxy may never emerge from it. Gall and Salvor make the decision to depart from Synax because they are required at Terminus. It won't be so simple to get away, though. Over a century has passed since Salvor's spaceship submerged. She couldn't afford to hold her breath for too long if she tried to restart it. They had to leave right away to avoid being hit by the approaching hurricane, but there is no other choice. Gall and Salvor restart the spacecraft and manage to land it after some difficulty. However, leaving the planet is a completely different matter. They will need hours to work out the problem on their own once Salvor informs them that there is a problem someplace on the ship. She requests that Gall release Hari from the Prime Radiant. He is technically artificial intelligence, thus he will be able to diagnose the spaceship's issue in a matter of seconds, greatly simplifying their duty. Gall isn't prepared to do that, though. Hari Seldon tries to understand what is going on with him when all of this is happening. He initially seems to be going crazy, but over time he gradually comes to grips with reality. He is aware that he died en route to Terminus. He is aware that Gall replaced Raych aboard the escape pod after Raich's death, but he has no idea where he is. Hari realizes he is not having hallucinations of his wife when Yenna appears to him. The person posing as his wife is actually an entity attempting to communicate with him. Hari concludes that the Prime Radiant is the artificial intelligence speaking to him. Gall Dornick made the prison he is locked in, and it all his own fault. Hari can now escape his cage because he is aware of what it is. He doesn't need to escape from a physical prison like regular people do because he is not quite human. It is primarily a mental game. before Gaul can decide what to do with him. He escapes the Prime Radiant by using a childhood method to minimize the dimensions of an object.